Growing up, we were told that it is old people who have gray hair. Their gray didn't just represent their length of time on earth, but also wisdom. But as I think back, I remember seeing young people spotting the odd strand or two of gray hair. Teenagers as well as people in their 20s and 30s had some gray hair. As I became older, I realized that for some, having gray or white or silver hair was fashion. There were dyes and gray extensions or attachments, as we call them back home in Nigeria, on sale. And it was young people who I saw with gray braids. I bet you have a similar experience or know someone who started growing gray at a young age, or perhaps that someone is you. So what do? Use dye and cover it up? Or embrace it with your full chest, like we say in our local slang? Did the silver strands influence your hair care regimen, or did you pay them no mind? What about hairstyling? Are the gray tresses lost in an attachment or hidden under a weave or wig? Or are they left to shine in all their full glory as an afro or updo or cornrows? And where does the media stand in all of this? What vibes do you get from movie characters and TV personalities who wear their natural gray hair? Are the vibes different across gender lines? Does one have a greater appeal? How does being gray affect how you're treated at home, at the workplace, in the community? Before, I would have just accepted the you grow old and gray notion without any questions. But I have discovered in my hair journey that it is only when I ask questions, lots of them, that I am better able to understand the science and art of my natural hair. It is also about history, culture, and society, norms, expectations, and stereotypes. It is coming to a place of peace and acceptance that my hair is my hair. It is personal, and I am responsible for loving it and treating it with care as I would other parts of my body. It's about getting knowledge to make informed decisions from a place of strength. If you're on the same page in wanting the best for your natural tresses, keep listening. It's good to be back again on yet another episode of Unraveling the Knots. Quick intro for those who are tuning in for the first time. I am Ganiyat Salami, the creator and host of this podcast, Unraveling the Knots. I love all things natural hair, and maybe soon, I will make something spectacular out of it. But for now, I do have a lovely 9-to-5 job as a project manager. On this podcast, you get a bit of this and a bit of that. Think of it like a Spanish tapas or buffet. With all those choices, you are likely to find something or 2 or 3 you like. It's the same here. Our content cuts across different aspects of natural hair. We view it through different lenses: science, art, culture, and history. We know our listeners are at different points in their lives. You're preggers, postpartum, got kids. There are episodes on that. You're thinking of going natural, transitioning, newly natural. We have got you covered. Some episodes take you down memory lane, while others have a lifestyle slant: eating, fasting, and exercise. Time won't permit me to go through everything. So I encourage you to have a look at the past episodes when you're done with this one. You're welcome. So, today is all about graying natural. Before we get into the hair care side of things, let's do a bit of science. And I have a question for you. Do you go gray or grow gray? Meaning, do the strands of your hair on your head turn gray over time? Or do you only grow new strands of gray hair? Your existing hair doesn't turn gray. Rather, the gray strands you are seeing grew gray. Here's the science behind it. Your hair follicles produce melanocytes, which in turn produce melanin and give hair its color. The color of your hair is dependent on the amount of melanin produced. Now, as a result of age, genetics, and other lifestyle factors, the activity of the melanocyte decreases. And as they begin to die, melanin production stops. When there is little or no pigment, what you're left with is the gray or silver or white color. Because it happens over time, it might seem like the hair is turning gray over time. But in reality, the new hair strands coming out are gray. But the change doesn't just affect color. The structure and properties of your hair will also change. When melanocytes die, there is a slight change in the shape of the hair follicle. This means the new hair might not follow the exact curl pattern as your existing hair. They may be more or less curly than before. Additionally, gray hair strands can develop a medulla, which means a hollow core that makes those hair strands more wiry and unruly. The lack of melanin in the cortex can also lead to reduced elasticity and strength. It can also make your hair more porous. And because melanin is a protectant from environmental damage, your hair becomes more vulnerable to ultraviolet rays. So, you are at a higher risk of experiencing broken hair, split ends, frizz, tangling, cuticle damage, and even yellowing. So, what can you do for your graying natural hair? 1. Treat with tender loving care. Your gray hairs are not as strong and elastic as before. So this is the time to press the brakes on heat and overstyling. You don't want to stress the hair unnecessarily. Instead, you want to treat it with a lot of tender loving care, which can be in the form of hair strengthening treatments. 2. Moisture, moisture, more moisture. Gray hair strands tend to be drier, so this is the time to keep them moisturized regularly. It can be as simple as spritzing with water and sealing with oil. You can also use a daily leave-in conditioner, and deep conditioning must be part of your hair care regimen. 3. Shampoo gently. The key here is to avoid dryness. So you want to limit the number of times you shampoo your hair so you're not constantly stripping the hair of the natural oils your gray hair needs. Avoid shampoos with sulfates as they can cause discoloration. Instead, opt for hydrating, sulfate-free, and natural shampoo products. And to remove mineral buildup, use cleansing clays or clarifying shampoo. 4. Avoid mineral oil. Look at the ingredients of the products before you buy them. You don't need mineral oil in your conditioner and other hair care products. Why? It coats the hair and weighs it down, making it harder for moisture to penetrate your gray hair. 5. Protect from ultraviolet radiation. When going out in the sun, it is advisable to tie a scarf or wear a hat or cap to protect your gray hair from UV radiation, as it can be especially damaging to gray hair. 6. Wrap at night. So, it's best to wrap your hair with a silk or satin scarf at night to protect it from the friction of your bedding. Go a step further and turn this into an overnight moisturizing ritual by massaging oil on your scalp in strands. Not too much, so that you don't end up staining your pillow. 7. Adopt a healthy and active lifestyle. There's only so much you can do on the outside. Truth is, the real work starts on the inside. Eating fruits and vegetables, staying hydrated, regular exercise, getting enough sleep, and managing stress levels. Healthy hair, gray or colored, starts with a healthy body. As a bonus, I would say speak to a certified hairstylist when it comes to a personalized hair care regimen as you grow gray naturally. They are also able to advise on styling options that will work without causing damage. And if you decide to pause on the graying, they are also able to guide you through the dyeing process. What has been your experience with gray hair? Are you already graying? If no, are you looking forward to it? Have you considered going gray for fashion? Have you had to dye your hair because of work? I'd love to hear from you. Send an email to utkinhair@gmail.com. You can also DM on Instagram at unraveling_the_knots. Unraveling is spelled UNRAVELING. Unraveling the Knots. If you already haven't, please rate Unraveling the Knots wherever you get your podcasts. And if you know someone who will enjoy this podcast, please forward the link to them. Thank you so much. This episode was produced by Isabella Adediji. My name is Ganiyat, and I look forward to you joining me on the next episode of Unraveling the Knots. Goodbye.